Okay, this problem is a cash flow problem, but it really is just reviewing if you're comfortable with where these pieces go and to identify the different categories of cash flows. Well, anything I highlight in green will be an operating activity. If I highlight it in orange, it's an investing activity. And if I highlight it in blue, it's a financing activity. And we're making these assumptions and categorizations in compliance with US GAAP. So where there's a difference with interest in things, that's IFRS, this is US GAAP. Well, let's start out with financing. Okay, and financing, we have the proceeds from a note payable. Proceeds, we got those. That's financing activity. We have a payment of a note payable. So we borrowed a mortgage, that would be proceeds from a note payable, take a mortgage. And we paid off another one of $42,000. So we paid the principal. Okay, and we paid dividends. And that's pretty much it. Because if we'll go through, cash from customers is clearly an operating activity. The interest on a note receivable, that's the interest we pay. Interest is an operating activity. Okay, because this is a note receivable, so we lent someone money, and we have to assume this is in the normal course of doing business. We got interest, okay? And we purchased inventory. That would be an operating activity. Okay, we also paid some interest on a note payable. That's also considered an operating activity. And we paid salaries of $100,000. Also an operating activity. Well, the only thing we have left is investing activities, okay? And we have the proceeds from our, where are we? Our collection of our notes receivable, or our, so that's the difference from proceeds. Proceeds are when you borrow money. This is receiving our principal back, okay? So that's an investing activity. We sold some investments. That's pretty clearly an investing activity. And we purchased equipment, and that's an investing activity. So that was the hard part of this problem. Now we have the information categorized. Let's go through and fill in the statement of cash flows. And that looks like such. Cash collection from customers, $510,000. Our interest on notes receivable, $12,500. And I'm just going through and picking up all the green numbers. Purchase of inventory, $245,000. Our interest on the note payable, and again this is interest we paid, $8,500, and we paid $100,000 in salaries. So that's cash to and from operating activities. When you add those together, it comes up to $169,000 net cash from operating activities. Now, I know some of you are fussing with those. How do we know if it's a financing and investing or whatever? Generally speaking, about 95% of all transactions are operating transactions. So if you're not sure, when in doubt, put it in operating. Usually on notes receivable, you'll be told if it's an investment, okay? Normally it is not. It's part of the normal operating business of that company. Okay, now our investing activities be collected on that note receivable, $56,000. We sold $36,000 worth of investments, and we purchased some equipment for $95,000, which is a cash outflow. So altogether, our total cash outflows are $3,000 from investing activities. And then note payable, that's a mortgage. We borrowed $185,000, that's cash inflow. We paid another mortgage, $42,000. A note payable is the most common, mortgage is the most common note payable. And then we paid dividends to our shareholders, and that's clearly a financing activity. So our cash from financing activities is $106,000. Our net increase in cash, if you add those all together, the 106, the -3, and the 169, you come up with our net increase of cash was $272,000. Our beginning cash and cash equivalents, as given in the problem, was $28,000, and our ending cash was $300,000. Good review, mostly about categorization, but a good overall review.